And while Rolf introduces the players, let's just remind you of what's happened already. We've had a morning session, of course. Neil Robertson continuing his upturn in form this week. He's only frames in 3 matches so far, saw off his good friend and now mentor Joe Perry. Kyron Wilson beat David Lilly. Tom Ford beat Mark Davis. Fan Zhengyi overcame Ishprit Singh Chadha. 4 more matches coming up this afternoon, all of which are available, of course, on Discovery Plus. And another 4 this evening to complete the quarter-final lineup. So lots of snooker still to come on this 4th day. There's Mark Allen. And this really is a match to savour, isn't it? Could easily be a final. They've got a terrific rivalry down the years. Allen has won 12, Higgins 9. And of course, they met very recently at the Masters. That was a real topsy-turvy affair. Allen eventually prevailing in a decider, having been 3-1 in front at one stage and then 5-3. Higgins forced the decider from 5-3 down, but Allen came up with a terrific break to win it. So can Higgins exact some revenge? He too has looked good in getting this far. Finished off nicely yesterday against Zhou Yulong with a 97 break. So we're all set, Neil Foulds, for what should be a match to savour. Yeah, this is a real top-class clash, isn't it? 2 of the very much leading players in the game. And, I mean, obviously, you mentioned 12-9 on the head-to-head, which is absolutely correct. It was 9 each, but the last 3 have been won by Mark Allen. I think that there's one match in particular, the Northern Irish Open, which the final of which Mark Allen came from 2 behind to win the last 3. And that set John Higgins back a little bit, and he's beaten him twice since then. But Higgins is still playing to a good level. He just, as we've been saying, has been struggling towards the end of matches to finish players off. So we'll see how this afternoon develops on that front. It's not always been his favourite event, John Higgins. There was a time when he didn't play in it.
3.
But here he is.
4.
Yes, that's right. In fact, his best ever run before this year was the last 16, way back in 2012, the 2nd year that this tournament was staged here in the Templedrum. So it has been a tournament that Higgins has not favoured in the past. Yeah, I mean, there is a sad story, and John told me about it. It was actually, while in Berlin, he found out that his father had passed, John Higgins Sr., and he had to fly straight home. So and he mentioned that to me. It's a private thing, but I don't think he felt quite the same about it for a number of years. But he's back playing again, which is lovely. So he's in with an opportunity here. Has he gone too far? Perhaps not.
19.
Could just get through and graze the other reds, I think.
20.
With a bit of stun to actually hit the reds with a little bit more on them, and that way bring 2 into play. So it's an encouraging start, but he will still need the rest for this black. Leaning across. Last season was a bit of a write-off for Higgins in the ranking events. He didn't reach the quarterfinals of any of them until the WST Classic in Leicester, shortly before the World Championship, so he missed the Players Series events. This season he's been a lot more consistent. There's been nothing wrong with Higgins' game in terms of getting to the sharp end. It's been converting winning positions when he's done so, and that has been something of a theme for Higgins. A couple of seasons ago, of course, he made 5 finals, including that one Neil has referenced against Allen, but wasn't able to get over the line in any of them, even though he was in pole position in 3 of them.
another nice shot to play to get more reds into play. Yes, he hasn't
36.
quite got top side of the blue, but it was still a very positive execution of the shot. Play with right hand running side. It's another well-played effort there, just to finish on one red.
41.
Because now if this break is going to go all the way to getting the frame safe, he's going to have to open these 7 reds in the middle of the table one more time, at least.
Thank you. 42.
Well, these tables are very quick, but that's pretty good. He's gone a fraction too far, but to judge the pace to be on the blue to open the reds wasn't easy. He's got a shot. Well, he's on that red,
47.
it seems. It was a bit of a race, wasn't it, to the right corner between the red and the cue ball. He's quite thin, but I'm not sure how much control over the cue ball he can have. Maybe he can hold. It's quite a thin one, this. Just had to land the cue ball around the angles here.
48.
Been an eventful break, but a good break. Maybe not the consummate cue ball control that we're used to with someone like Higgins, but it's a good start to the match for him. Playing that same shot here. Around a couple of cushions. And a trace of right-hand side again. He's landing on balls
53.
today, and I know that sounds an odd thing to say, but you know, if you start a match and you get a little unlucky kiss, he's not had any of those. I wonder if today's going to be a good day for John. It's
54.
a very nice start to the afternoon for him.
Higgins won his qualifier against Daniel Wells 5-3, and then had a walkover with Martin Gould withdrawing from the tournament for medical reasons before that victory over Zhou
61.
Yulong in the round of 32, when he made the 97 break to win 5-3
62.
after Zhou had pulled it back from 2-0 and 3-2 behind to put the pressure on. I think Higgins will have been very pleased with the way he finished that match. He did it in clinical fashion, and it is that cutting edge when the match is on the line that has somewhat deserted him of late, but maybe it's coming back.
69.
And that was frame ball, certainly regarding requiring a snooker. But this red going in would definitely win in the frame. Oh, this is good stuff from John.
70.
Break might end there, but it's a very encouraging start.
Blue ball.
Take this blue on and we might get even more of an idea how he's hitting them, because this is tough. Ah, well, terrific.
Picking up where he left off, the crowd enjoyed that one.
75.
Finished strongly against Zhou, has started very strongly this afternoon against Mark Allen. He did lead
76.
3-1, as mentioned, in that Masters match a couple of weeks back. And then lost 4 in a row before recovering to force the decider. Allen did make a terrific break in that deciding frame, as he so often does. He's missed that black, but
John Higgins, 76.
it doesn't matter. Mark Allen remains in his chair with only 51 remaining, so that's a very encouraging start for fans of John Higgins, from the 4 times world champion, to lead Mark Allen 1-0.
Thank you. Second frame.
Four
Mark Allen.
tables now in use here at the Templedrum, and of course, when we get to Saturday, semi-finals day, we'll be down to just one, and that is when this marvellous venue really comes into its own. But a very fine start from John Higgins. A 70-plus break to take the opening frame. He was cueing very nicely, knocked in that terrific blue from distance, albeit the frame was already won, and that's not a great break off at all from Mark Allen. Looks like he's left this red for Higgins.
That's the last thing Mark Allen needed at the start of frame 2, pushing the red down, which can happen, as we know. It's an odd one, isn't it, why that red goes up the table, because usually the cue ball has done what the player has asked of it. In other words, cue ball always ends up in bulk, where it should do. So why does the red go up? And some people will have the impression it's dependent on the referee setting the balls up in a certain way. I don't know if that's right. But it doesn't feel like you've made a mistake. But clearly, whoever's on the receiving end has done. And John's off again, potentially, here.
Thank you. 6.
Trying to get into the bunch, but it's a little thin on this. Can't afford to hit this too hard. No, that's a good shot. He deserves to be on one. If you hit that too hard, the cue ball will just zigzag across and not reach the reds. Got to allow the spin to go on the ball, and he hit the target. It's not anything particularly easy. Can he get through the gap to the other red? Well, I think he can. Well, things are happening for John today, because he had no way of knowing that red he'd be on. There didn't even look to be a gap from the angle we're looking at now, but there clearly was.
Over on table 4, Julian Leclerc of Belgium, former shootout champion, of course, as
12.
John Higgins' wife Denise watches on, has taken the opening frame against Ryan Day. Just a reminder of the other results from this morning. We know Neil Robertson, of course, beat Joe Perry. He'll now play Kyron Wilson. That'll be some match this evening. Wilson won by the same score against David Lilley. And it's going to be Tom Ford, last year's runner-up, who has been very consistent of late, up against Fan Zhengyi later with their respective victories over Mark Davis and Ishprit Singh Chadha. Oh, is that wide?
Well, that came out of absolutely nowhere. Yes, he was just holding for the red, which didn't appear to be a problem. I mean, this is Mark Allen's only his 3rd shot of the match. John would have liked to have made it a longer time away than now. As he left it on, well, he might be able to squeeze it past the black, but moving the black in the process. Well played, because he didn't want to hit it hard and knock the black away from there.
Allen started off with a hard-fought victory over Manasarwin Feta Michael. He made a century in the deciding frame of that match as he goes into the reds. Has he had any joy? Doesn't look like it. And then
8.
saw off Louis Heathcote. Made just 2 half-centuries right at the start of that match, but was solid throughout. And yesterday's match with Joe O'Connor, another Leicester cueist, of course, well, that really turned on one ball. O'Connor was on top. He was leading 2-1. He was set for 3-1. Mr. Pink to the left centre and never really recovered. And Allen picked his game up appreciably after the interval, having got out of that mini session unscathed at 2-all and finished well. Up until then, it had been a bit of a struggle, but he's in decent form, clearly. He's won the Champion of Champions this season, of course. He beat Higgins in that event. He only dropped 8 frames in 4 matches to win that title. He also thrashed Trump in the final. And, of course, he won the shootout, which was significant because it was those points that got him into the World Grand Prix and has put him well up the list in terms of the one-year ranking with the remaining Players' Series events in mind. Players' Championship this month and the Tour Championship at the beginning of April, so it's all looking solid again for Alan after his outstanding season last season when he won 3 tournaments and made the semis at the Crucible for just the 2nd time.
Trying to hit the left side of this ball is very difficult, that shot. I was thinking that he might end up missing it altogether, because if you catch too much of the red, your cue ball is going to go absolutely nowhere coming at it from that angle. So he might play it a second at a time, and should he miss again and the 3 strikes and out rule come in, then he'll be looking at a different option. But he has to catch this very thin. So he's not going to be playing that shot on attempt 3. I can assure you of that.
John Higgins 4.
Because he will get the warning.
Malgorzata Kanieszka, our referee.
John, so now I have to give you a warning. If play foul miss next time, you will recover.
So what will he play? You know, strange. Often a player will either pop one on the 3rd attempt or end up playing a shot which looks better than the first attempt. He might be trying to cut it in this time, which means he'll hit it either there or on the way back. He might be missing it anyway. He's managed to escape anyway.
Yeah, he's actually played a very good safety, getting the cue ball under the baulk cushion. A packed house this afternoon here in Berlin. This tournament, first stage back in 2011. Ali Carter on table 2 is a 2-times champion, as is Judd Trump, who will be in action this evening. What a match that promises to be against Tepchai Anu. That'll be our commentary match from 7 o'clock UK time.
Yeah, I think when those two play, I always think about that match at the Crucible, the year that Judd Trump became champion, and he was trailing 6-3 against Tepchai. Ended up beating him 10-9, and but for Tepchai not going into the bunch and getting on one in the decider, we'd have had a different world champion. Amazing how it can be down to a shot or two either way, even if over 17 days. Oh, what a shot from John Higgins. What a shot that is. He's missed one ball, yes, and he'll be annoyed with the ball that he missed, actually. But he looks pretty confident to me. I suppose it's like anything else, isn't it? You know, he's had this frustrating run, and at some point somebody's going to suffer and be on the wrong end of an absolute drubbing where he plays brilliantly. I'm not saying quite we're there yet, but he's made as good a start as you could wish for.
8.
Mark Allen trying to get in the zone, perhaps resigning himself to the likelihood that he's going to be 2-0 behind at the end of this visit. The winner of this will play the winner of tonight's match between Trump and Tepchire in the quarters.
Yeah, that prolonged applause, that was because
22.
Julian Leclerc has just made a century to go to a 2-0 lead over Ryan Day, and the balls were hitting the back of the pockets very hard. Terrific prospect, Leclerc. So he's got a couple of frames up already.
23.
Ali Carter, defending champion, is 1-0 up on Zach Shurty. Sijai Wee likewise against Yuan Sejun. So he was actually 4-0 down in his qualifying match, wasn't he, against Liu Haoshan before winning 5 in a row. Certainly made the most of that Houdini act in his very first match to get here.
30.
Higgins lead, 43. Allen hasn't had much of a look in so far.
One. 37.
Yes, he knew the keeper was heading down the table from that shot, and he also is aware that he'll need one more red, because with 4 reds left, he's got a lead of 51. He takes the green, 54. So these 4 reds are awkwardly placed, actually. I'm not sure whether either of those two will go to the pocket closest to the camera or not. He'd have to put the cue ball in a very specific place, maybe, for that right-hand red to be on. So he's just got a little bit more to do. And he's taking the cue ball around for the... Well, I think he tried to play on the other 2 reds, but either way, he's not really threatened
41.
to finish on anything there, and the frame is still live.
John Higgins, 41.
So Higgins on the cusp, but not quite there yet. Still enough for Allen to turn it around if he can get in next. Mark Allen looking to improve on his previous best in this tournament, which is a semi-final appearance. That was 2 years ago when he lost to Yan Bingtao. And has shown tremendous powers of recovery in this period where he's had so much sustained success. 5 titles in the last couple of seasons. 6-1 down to Ding in the UK final. 4-1 down to Zhou Yulong in the Scottish Open final. And was 4-1 behind at the Masters to Mark Selby and turned that around. So starting slowly, not necessarily a problem for Mark Allen, but he's up against one of the greats. So he'll be acutely aware of the need to make an impression as soon as possible in this one.
Well, that'll do very nicely. Not too sure about that, whether he had some thoughts of the double going in. He seemed a bit pensive when he saw the ball drop, as if he felt a little guilty, but I'm not sure. He may have played it. Didn't see his hand go up. Either way, none of that really matters. It did go in, and he has won the frame. Just see it again. I mean, and if he meant it was a very good shot. But did he put his hand up? Don't know. Well, he's dominated these first 2 frames. He missed that one black off the spot, which maybe he was just playing it in a certain way that he found tricky. But he's been all over Mark Allen in 2 of the possible 9 frames anyway.
Yes, just 8 points scored so far by Allen in this match. Still early days, but perfect start from Higgins.
John Higgins, 6 and the frame.
And again, Mark Allen remains in his chair. So a break of 76 in the first frame. John Higgins has monopolised the table again in the second. And the 4 times world champion, looking to break new ground at the German Masters, leads Mark Allen 2-0. A packed Templedrum for the 7 days, of course, this year of the German Masters. Previously a 5-day event. The top 8 seeds were held back to the venue this year. And John Higgins, who had to qualify, has made a great start. 76 break in the opener. And he's dominated the second frame as well to lead Mark Allen 2-0 as he looks for his first victory over his opponent today in 4 attempts, having lost a decider at the Masters this year. And more painfully, as Neil mentioned earlier, in the final of the Northern Ireland Open in 2021 when he was 2 up with 3 to play. And Allen turned it around. Allen also beat him this season in the Champion of Champions, handsomely in the semis, 6-2.
He doesn't like the look of this next shot, does he? Despite all those wins recently against John, he's not enjoying today so far. And he's in a spot of bother here, because I don't know if he can get to the red up the table. I'm not sure what he can play. He's been in trouble on more than one occasion so far in the few shots he's had. This, on paper, looks to be a very tight game. You know, you feel that there'd be 8 or 9 frames played with these two. I guess Mark Allen would be happy for that to be the case, given he's 2-0 down, hasn't really had a sniff at anything. Well, I think he has played it well, but it was a concern because if it had gone fractionally more to the right, he wouldn't have been on. He would have been on a red to the right corner. He may something to the middle, which is awkward. Higgins, but he looked away from it now, I think. Doesn't need to take undue risks and present an opening to Mark Allen, who must be feeling a little cold out there. Cold arm, I think they call it, where you've not really had a shot. Good crowds all week here in Berlin. Pulsating weekend, I can tell you. Always a fantastic atmosphere on the one table setup.
One.
Well, that was very good. You saw the path of the ball towards the pocket. It always looked like slightly near jaw, but it stayed on line. Now, Mark Allen with a chance to make some inroads into this match.
Eight. Nine. Fourteen.
Well, he played on that bottom red, and he's on it, of course, with a view to, if he was on it correctly, could play the red to the middle, but he's on it, I think, with a chance to brush off the bunch. In fact, he's screwing off the bunch, playing on the black in the same pocket. Very nice.
15.
A little close to the cushion, but that's the risk you take on those. I think there was somebody virtually almost clapping all the way through there on one of the other tables, somebody watching. There's a continuous clap, and one of the referees said, "That'll do." I think it might have been Marcel Eckhart, told the person to stop just clapping needlessly.
Twenty-two. Twenty-three. 30. 31. 36.
Into the pack with control rather than any great pace. Look as though it's worked out for Alan. He got in with that terrific red at a very acute angle into the right centre. But does the break end there? It would appear so. This is the red in question. Perfectly struck into the centre of the pocket, but looks as though he's going to have to make do with 36. Alan opting to try and keep the break going by taking on that awkward plant. It's not worked for him.
Yeah, it's a disappointing end for Mark Allen. He's not quite done the damage there with that break.
Meanwhile, Ali Carter has just won frame 2 on the pink to lead Zach Surety on table 2 by 2 frames to 0. The winner of that match will play the Craigie or Sue Sir in the quarterfinals.
It feels an important part of the match, this, doesn't it? I know it's only the 3rd frame, but if Mark Allen, who got in first, doesn't win this frame and John decides to win the frame here and go 3-0 up, then it seems a big lead. So this is a good chance for John to do just that. If that's a plant, even better for John Higgins.
Interesting shot choice as well from Alan, because of late, as we know, he's been more inclined to play the percentages, not take risks, and that plant was not easy. He didn't play it as a shot to nothing, and having missed it, he's given Higgins this chance to get back into the frame. Quite a lot of distance between the balls, and they weren't dead set either. Very difficult plant.
Yeah, they weren't quite in line, as simple as that. And they kind of held their line. Now, is John going to fare any better with this plant?
Nine.
That's all right, isn't it? Absolutely perfect now. So, Mark Allen, I'm sure he's thinking that he should have done better in the context of this match with that last visit.
Sixteen.
Well, that was perilously
17.
close to the left-hand middle. I don't know quite what he meant there, but it definitely wasn't to hit the jaws and straighten up onto the blue. Now that has left him a little bit of a stretch on this next red, so
22.
these are the kind of moments where John Higgins, with a chance to press on, has often faltered a little bit in recent matches. This is a shot that is obviously missable.
$23.
That'll do nicely.
$30. $31.
Just a positional shot which needs a little bit of thought here. Yes, there are reds in the middle of the table which are absolutely in play, but the right-hand red, just stopping the two close together from being that easy to pot. So I think he's attempting to remove that right-hand red here. The decks for the other two.
38.
I mean, it is such a terrific chance that he's given himself to extend his lead. Slowed the pace a little bit because he understands the importance of the next few shots.
John Higgins completely dominated the first two
46.
frames, but this is the first where Mark Allen had made an impression, got him with that terrific red.
47.
Lost position going into the bunch, opted to take on the very awkward plant, which he didn't get. Left Higgins this opportunity to counter. Is it going to be a winning one for 3-0? He's got a pot success as we see that plant again.
54.
Very difficult, wasn't it? And he played it for position, not as a shot to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult shot. The more you look at it, they're offline, but I suppose that wasn't the issue. It was just the distance between the two reds.
Yeah, Higgins'
55.
official pot success, 94, but it's better than that, actually, because a couple of those that he's missed have been academic at the end of frames, so he's playing very well.
Yeah, and I think it was important he got on the pink because that's going to be easier access to the other two reds. $25 the difference. He'll need both reds.
61.
So there is a little more to do.
$62.
Now how does he get on the red? Because he... And now, this is the one he needs. Very impressive today, John. Best I've seen him look for quite some time out there.
Indeed, bar that one aberration in the second frame on the black, which ultimately was not significant. He's looked very sharp. In this frame, the most significant of all, because Allen was in first, failed to negotiate that awkward plant, and Higgins has punished him.
76. $78.
Denise will be happy with what she's seeing so far.
$81.
Higgins closing in on 1,000 centuries for his career. He's made 26 so far this season.
$85. $90. $96.
And this will please Higgins. Not just the century, but a punishing break after Allen's mistake. Superb stuff from the 4 times world champion. 103, century 968, and he has a firm grip on this round of 16 match at the Templedrum. Mark Allen with it all to do now. Higgins 2 away from the quarterfinals. He leads the pistol by 3 frames to 0. Round of 16 day here
Mark Allen to break.
at the German Masters, and Mark Allen with it all to do now. He was in first in that 3rd frame, took on an awkward plant, missed it, and watched a century from John Higgins for 3-0. So this, you would think, is a must-win now for Allen. The frame before the interval. 5 remains the target for a place in the last 8. Higgins going for his 138th ranking quarter-final appearance.
Well, it's certainly good to see him playing like this. I mean, we don't know how this match is going to go from here. But it's very encouraging. Johnny's one of the game's good guys, and a fierce competitor. You know, enjoys winning and doesn't like losing very much, and that's kind of how it has to be. He's given Mark Allen a lot to think about in these 3 frames. What's he doing? He's just asking the referee to take a look at the line in case there's a replacement. I think you can see the middle red of the 3, the point he's making. Not much of it though, as you can see from that. Yeah, that was what it was. He wanted to ensure that if there was anything put back, the balls would be as they were. It's a very fine safety shot.
Foul. Mark Allen 4.
Well, probably better in the pocket, actually, for Higgins than rattling in the jaws and staying at the sharp end of the table, which he could easily have done. Allen is clearly up against it right now, but both players will be mindful that John Higgins' recent problem has not been getting into winning positions, it's been converting them. He's made 4 semi-finals this season, and in 3 of them he was looking good to win, but was pipped at the post. So if Allen could win this frame, then maybe 1 or 2 of the doubts of the last couple of seasons might resurface in Higgins' mind. That'll certainly be Alan's hope anyway, but first he's got to win this frame.
It's one of those where he's got the cue ball sort of roughly back to where he wanted it to, but he did certainly catch the red on the thick side of what he wanted. Not left anything easy, if at all. Very difficult, those shots into a blind pocket. Never quite able to see the pocket opening from there. There's Jordan Brown, no doubt. Well, I think he gets on well with both of these two, but clearly Mark Allen is his great friend and countryman. I'm sure he's a big fan of John Higgins as well.
Lost out to the Belgian beast, 5-1 yesterday, Jordan.
I think Jordan is just generally a big snooker fan, isn't he? Apparently he's don't need a snooker almanac where he's concerned. He knows all the info, and I have worked with him before. He came and did some work in the Welsh Open, I think it was last year. He knew everything. Mark is looking anxiously on. That red has drifted into a potable position.
One.
It's another good shot. The pot and the control of the cue ball, absolutely first class.
Six.
And that has worked out very well also.
Seven.
All the right things are happening, but this is another frame which is only in the early stages.
Fourteen. Fifteen. 22. Twenty-three.
I think the expectation from most at the outset of this match was that we were in for a real battle royale again between this pair, quite possibly along the lines of the Masters in January, which went to the wire, both players having been on top at periods in that match, but at the moment
30.
it's strictly one way in favour of John Higgins, who's playing superbly. What an opportunity he's got here for a clean sweep before the interval.
31.
Played into a nice open space there with 2 or 3 reds to choose from.
$39.
Well, there is Denise, John's wife, watching this match. Must be enjoying what she's seeing.
$44.
That's the number of points that Alan has accrued in the entire match so far, 44. Is he going to add to his tally in this frame? At the moment, it looks unlikely.
45.
Had one chance, really. Lost position in going into the reds, played the plant. Didn't get it. Higgins stepped in with a century. He made 76 in the first frame as well.
$50.
Yeah, he's not happy with that. Just positionally, the red he's on, I don't know if he feels it's easy to get away from the other reds and onto a colour from here. So how's he going to go about this? Thinking about the position too much. Which is not really a thing John Higgins often would do. I think he'll settle for that. I know he's close to the cushion, but he's got a shot to get from blue to red.
John Higgins, 51.
Well, it was close to the cushion, but I expected him to get it in his current form.
One.
Potentially very significant juncture in this match. It was looking all the world as though John Higgins was moving 4-0 up there. A lifeline for Alan. If he can take it and win this frame, that might just plant the seed of doubt in Higgins' mind at the interval.
8. Nine.
Well, he's not had much to go at in this match, Mark Allen, but he will understand how he's going to have to do this right here and now. There may not come another chance if he was to fail. And of course there are difficulties. That bit on the right, the blue
15.
Much further down the line, which John missed and put slightly safe.
16. $22. Thank you. 23. $30.
Average frame time of just 15 minutes so far, indicative of how fluent John Higgins has been. He's completely dominated this match for 3.5 frames, but are we about to see a significant shift in momentum? That only just went in, hit it thicker than
31.
intended. And he's got the awkward looking red on the right hand side of the table to negotiate still, as we see Higgins miss blue.
Yeah, I mean, John wasn't happy with the red before, that where he was. He knew that there was a possibility that, you know, he wouldn't be perfectly on a colour, but he did finish top side of that blue. It's never nice when you've got to drop one of those in. The kind of form he's been in today, I expected him to have no problem.
38.
But the frame is not over yet by any means. Mark Allen's got plenty to do to win it. Where the balls are. He's at the table still, which very much helps him. Now, in potting this red, I wonder if he would consider moving the blue. Yeah, he did play it, and unfortunately gave him some divided concentration.
38.
Good idea to get the blue out, but he didn't manage to pot the ball, more importantly.
He was a long way off with the pot, in truth, there, Mark Allen. But he's back in the frame. Crikey. That might have been a little closer than Higgins intended.
Too bright, and that would have been a pretty horrendous outcome, wouldn't it? It was close.
Yeah, he can smile now. He wouldn't have been had it dropped. Massive frame now, this. Higgins wins it, then it's a very long road back for Allen. But 3-1, different situation.
It totally feels that way, doesn't it? It totally does. Just thinking about previous matches between these two. I mean, from 4-0, you wouldn't think John would lose from there. But recent history says at 3-1 he might. But I do like the way he's playing in general. Whether that will count for anything, I'm not sure. If things get very nervy. Well, John might be able to get Mark in trouble here. Potentially behind the blue would be a good snooker to lay. The brown, that'll do. That's even better, actually. That is even better.
Foul. And I miss John Higgins 7.
Well, that'll undoubtedly be going back. It's not just about hitting the red, of course, here for Allen. It's not leaving Higgins a chance.
It's a horrible snooker, isn't it? I mean, John played it ever so well. You know, I mean, it's one of those, he's so tied up against the brown ball that, you know, you're actually hitting away from the ball you're trying to hit. He's not even looking towards the reds. And as you say, he's got to hit one and somehow get the ball safe as well. So he's in all kinds of trouble, actually. Yeah, I think this replacement, there's no doubt that Mark is going to go the same way anyhow.
John, thank you.
I don't think he wants that one back. I'm more than pleased to have that shot over with.
Having been 2-0 behind, Ryan Day now leads Julian Leclerc of Belgium 3-2 on table 4. Ali Carter now 3-0 up on Zach Shirty. And Si Jiawei 3-0 up on Yuan Sejun. All the matches available on Discovery Plus. This vital frame still up for grabs. Higgins 16 in front, 43 on the table. Higgins was in, Mr. Blue to the right centre. Allen had the chance to get back into it and has just escaped very handily from that awkward snooker to keep his hopes alive in this frame.
very thin on the red, might be able to get the cue ball into a dangerous area where it could have John in some trouble. Well, this looks pretty good. Not quite behind the blue, but still a good shot. I think John might be able to hit a red, but there is a gap between pink and black. It's one of those annoying ones. You can see all of it, but can he get an edge of it, more importantly? Maybe the left side as we look, he can just graze. Maybe the left side as we look, he can just graze. Wow, we got ever so close to that pink. We've got a great view of it. How about that for a shot? That is some shot.
Wow. What a cannon that was for Mark Allen. It's looking as though he might leave Higgins a shot at that red. As it is, he's snookered on both of them.
He was fortunate. It was, as you say, it was a dangerous shot that Mark Allen played. A red towards the right corner. But he got a little lucky.
Foul and a miss. Mark Allen 4.
Going to go back. I'm pretty sure of that.
And the free ball.
Well, this is a free ball. Yeah, well, maybe it won't now.
Were Allen to go on to win this frame and indeed the match, he'll look back on that fluke snooker as the moment things changed his way. Still plenty to do to win this frame, but it's a chance.
Yeah, when he was in that snooker behind the brown, it looked a pretty hopeless task to hit the snooker and keep things safe, but he eventually did it. The balls aren't that bad now. Obviously, the red down the black cushion, we've seen those miss this week.
1.
That's not perfect either, positionally. Slightly improved the positioning of the red, but not
8.
a lot. Still, a shot can be missed. Very good, though. Very good.
It feels like a turning point in this match, potentially. Mark Allen really had to win this frame. He wasn't looking likely to do so. Higgins missed the blue when he was in. Oh, but that's gone wrong for Allen. Not the cannon he wanted.
16.
So, 4 in front. Had the cannon gone correctly, it would have been a golden opportunity to close to 3-1 at the interval. By a margin, the longest frame of the match, certainly the most important one. Nearly 28 minutes.
Yeah, and it's still up for grabs, as you say, because of that last shot.
Mark Allen, 16.
Well, he didn't entirely threaten John Higgins with that shot. John won't mind where the balls have come to rest.
Ryan Day now.
Yeah, they're not exactly taking their time between frames there. They've had the mid-session interval and 2 frames the other side of it. It's a terrific prospect, Leclerc, but he's got all to do now to continue his progress. Well, this frame now over half an hour. As Philip said, it's a big one. I think big for both players. Obviously, Mark Allen needs to win it, but you kind of think John does as well. Balls have turned slightly against him from earlier on, but at least the green is going to be difficult to pot from where they've come to rest, so it doesn't necessarily mean he'll lose a frame that this red is over the pocket.
One.
Well, the blue would change everything if you could pot it, but it's difficult. Would he even play it or potentially play the snooker? He's got the choice. Yeah. Now all of a sudden the green ball is exposed.
6.
And he only needs yellow, green and brown here.
Another twist. Now, where's this going to end up? On for Higgins.
6.
Looked as though Mark Allen had done the hard work there.
I thought he could have rolled that in, and I know he'd have been a bit close to the middle pocket, but he went the long way round in a way. I mean, when you hit the ball with that pace, you can lose a bit of accuracy, the pocket becomes smaller. The problem with him rolling it in, he couldn't have got very close to the green. And I wouldn't say that's going in there, is it? No, but I tell you what.
2.
Talking of not being close to the green, look where John Higgins is away from it.
Oh dear.
John Higgins,
Well,
2.
surely now the best chance Mark Allen has had to get his first frame and just give Higgins something to think about at the interval, because he was well on course for 4-0 before he missed the blue earlier in the frame. Mark Allen hasn't really played as yet in this match. His highest break just 38. Wasn't really allowed to in the first couple of frames. Had a chance in the third. Higgins punished a misplant with a brilliant century, but if he can win this frame, he's back in the match.
Yeah, it's made it very interesting though, isn't it? Because it is a big, potentially a game changer. Certainly has changed the frame, that blue that he missed. He's a little bit nervy, John, which is not really how he's been playing. He's been superb. But Mark Allen has finally won this frame anyhow.
18, Mark Allen, 18.
John Higgins certainly deserves his lead, but it could have been a nigh-on unassailable one. How important will that marathon fourth frame prove to be? Nearly 35 minutes. It's eventually gone the way of Mark Allen on the colours. And so instead of 4-0, it's a more manageable 3-1 deficit for Mark Allen. They're off for 15 minutes. 5 is the target. As we know of late, has had a few problems in getting over the line, having carved out a winning position. So it's a test of character for him. Higgins looking to end a 3-match losing streak against Mark Allen, including, of course, this season at the Masters, when he was at one stage 3-1 up, then 5-3 behind, winning the decider in style with a big break. Frame 5.
Well, again, the red comes up the table. It's happened on, I think, 3 occasions so far in the 5 breakoffs I've seen in this match. Not able to be potted, though, by Mark Allen. I mean, I suppose if it goes up the table and you end up snooker behind a bolt colour, it's an advantage to have broke off when that happened. Anyway, I wonder if John Higgins can just carry on as normal. Look for all the world like he was going to go 4-0 up. He's got a good lead, but what if it's just nagging away at him? Certainly hope not, because his overall form looks really good.
He's done all the scoring. 76, 103 and 51. Mark Allen's size break just 38. Higgins' pot success overall 95%. It's actually better than that because he missed a couple that didn't matter at the end of frames. So Allen has been comprehensively outplayed so far, but that fourth frame did feel very significant for him to win. 4-0 behind. Very difficult to see a way back from there with the way Higgins has been playing, but 3-1, particularly given Higgins' recent problems in finishing matches, gives the match a different complexion.
Well, it was difficult. I think sometimes those long-range shots where you see the low camera angle, it almost foreshortens the shot and makes it look like it's not an awkward one to play. But that clearly was one. So what had changed in this match, though, because John was getting on everything, you know. He was going into the bunch and landing on a single red. A couple of times he got on balls where he didn't necessarily know about it. Amongst all the very good play that he did show us. And now I think the run has changed towards Mark Allen slightly. That's how snooker goes.
8.
We promised a terrific match, and I think it's on the verge of living up to that. Always felt it would go close, not necessarily when Higgins was about to go 4-0 up. Well, thinking that, but before the match, now it feels like a close match again.
$14. $15. $22. $23. $28. $29.
That's absolutely perfect, I think. Certainly wanted to be on the bottom
34.
red. Cue ball has travelled far enough.
$35.
Playing with a bit more fluency than is sometimes the case these days, but I think he knows that he's going to just have to score heavily to get back into this match against John. Also a very good shot. He's got a slightly awkward cueing on this next red, but he opened the balls up, knowing that bottom red was always going to be there for him.
That's now his highest break of the afternoon.
Yes, he can just about get to it, I think. The pink's slightly in the way. What he wants is centre ball striking and not have to use the spider, but maybe that will come into the equation here. It's just that the elevation that the spider gives you, it helps you get over the top of the ball, but easier to put a bit of unwanted side on and throw it off target, cueing down on the ball. Oh no, he's mishit it completely.
And right on the point of delivery of the cue there was a ripple of applause, which I guess maybe distracted Alan either way.
42.
Could be a costly error. Prolonged applause, always an indicator that a match has come to its conclusion, and it has on table 2. Ali Carter, as we see, the miss from Mark Allen again, has wrapped up a 5-0 win over Zach Shurty.
Just looking at that shot, I mean, yes, I agree that there was some applause just as he was on the backswing, but I mean, this is a temperature with matches being played. There's not much you can do about any of that. It could happen at the Crucible or anywhere else, but it was just awkward, wasn't it? It just came awkward. You can't have the same touch using the spider. You're queuing down on the ball. I didn't think he would fail to reach the pocket. That was one way of missing it I didn't consider. There was clapping. I don't think he'll be making any excuses. So, we've spoken about John Higgins not quite being able to win frames that he should do. That's what's happened here in reverse. Mark Allen should never have broke down when he did.
22. Free. $30. $31.
Well, as you can imagine, that left-hand red is absolutely going to come into play.
38.
But for now, he's not thinking beyond what's in the centre of the table. Just nudging the two reds here is handy for him, bringing them off of a position of safety.
39.
But the cue ball has overrun slightly. It's going to take a good shot to retrieve things. Tense moments for family members. Very loyal supporter of John's game, of course, his wife Denise.
That was the problem for Higgins, having to go around the houses. Always the danger that you collide into a bought colour and in the process position is scuppered. Back in the frame, 4 in front.
John Higgins, 46.
Excellent crowds as ever here at the Tempodrome. It's such a popular venue. And snooker is a big deal here in Germany. Well, he didn't know what else to do there. I mean, I suppose he could have played a safety shot. Play. He had a long think about it and thought he would just almost dead bat it back. Mark Allen. Can't blame him. cue ball, he has got access to the bottom red. These safety shots have got to be made to count at this kind of level. And he's hit it much too thick. Miles too thick. Significant error. The next thing for Mark Allen to think about is these two reds now. He'll probably need an angle on the blue to disturb them, because they can't be made into a plum, they're too wide. Not lined up to the pocket at all. Might be able to play on the pink though, and that would be another way of bringing them into play. Well, he'd be pleased to see the pink go on the black spot, and he was aware of that anyway.
8. $15.
Starting to look like that
16.
shot where Mark Allen left the red short of the pocket with the spider is not going to prove to be costly, because this is such a brilliant chance to get another frame.
Higgins was in and lost prime position. He had to play in and out of balk off the black.
19.
Caught a balk colour and had to play safe. And now, from being pretty close to 4-0 up and almost home and dry, he's seeing his lead shaved to a single frame. This is the black in question. Finished lower on it than he wanted and cannoned into the brown. That was end of break.
$24.
So just this brown. And Allen will be right back in the picture.
$33. And the frame,
Mark Allen clears to the pink. Back-to-back frames for last season's player of the season. The champion of champions winner this season. Just one behind John Higgins. Mark Allen right back in the match now, having won frames 4 and 5.
Mark Allen to break.
John Higgins was a few balls away from a 4-0 lead at the interval now. Still 2 away from victory at 3-2. Remember, he's lost his last 3 meetings with Allen, which he's keen to address. And again, Mark Allen bringing a red up the table off the break and leaving an early chance for his opponent.
Keeps happening, doesn't it? Strange. It's what you want, though, isn't it? I mean, you win the toss, and most players will break because it's perceived to be an advantage, but I'm not so sure it is these days. With the way other players pot at long range, it's almost best not to be breaking off most of the time. See how John feels right now with his game. So he was cueing delightfully earlier.
Seven. $14.
Very interesting stage of the match with Mark Allen coming back at John.
$15.
Well played. Controlled into the bunch and just out of the bunch
22.
to be on the red below it, and developing 4 or 5 reds in the process. Things looking good. Reds have
23.
opened up, but there's still not necessarily that many that are easy to pot from the positions they're in. Pink is covering up a couple of options, being on its spot. Okay for the moment. Now the pink's gone back on its spot, and the red that might have been
29.
available isn't, to the left of it. So while he's okay still, from his next colour after this red, he's got to play a specific shot to land on a red.
30. Thank you.
Might be playing on a red to the left middle. I think that looks perfect to me.
37.
As long as you can get from red to colour.
Oh dear.
John Higgins, 37.
He hasn't made too many mistakes today, Higgins, but obviously the blue in the 4th frame proved significant. That one seemed to go in and come out again.
You can just see it, can't you, in John's mind, the sort of the way he's thinking, that positional shot. I mean, in that earlier frame when he ended up missing the blue, he wasn't happy about the shot before. So that's why he landed a little bit out of position on the blue, not too badly. And there, I thought he played the black well, but in playing that red, he knew he was going near the pink. He could see a problem coming, and I think it affected the shot he was on. He knew that he was going to hit the pink, and he, obviously the pace he played the red at, he had to be very accurate, and he was just offline.
1.
Outrageous fluke, which Mark Allen should be able to lay a snooker from behind the black. So while it isn't going to be costly on this visit, could be that it
Mark Allen 1.
amounts to something further down the line.
Jamie Clark watching on. Famously beat Mark Allen at the World Championship a couple of seasons back when Allen made 5 centuries but still lost.
Well, the fluke not necessarily costly, but John has got a slight issue here. Yeah, this red in the middle that he doesn't really want to play in. His thin cut back blind pocket, tight on the cushion against the nap. There's lots of reasons why you wouldn't want to have to play this shot, but in the absence of anything else, he might be forced into trying to pot it. I mean, you can miss it to the top jaw, or you can hit it on the thick side quite easily, this sort of shot. Had a long look at it, didn't he? And he clearly didn't fancy the red. I don't blame him, it was horrible.
Just one other match outstanding. Si Jiawei on the cusp, leading 4-1 against Yuan Sijun, although Yuan is looking good to close to 4-2 behind. The winner of that to play Ryan Day, who's already beaten Julian Leclerc 5-2. Ali Carter, a 5-0 winner this afternoon against Zach Shurty on table 2. He'll now play the winner of the match this evening between Sam Craigie and Siu Sir. Remember, from 7 here on table 1, it'll be Judd Trump against Thepchaiya Nu, and the winner of that plays the winner of this in the quarterfinals tomorrow. John Higgins just looking to re-establish control of this match, which has been loosened since he led 3 and very nearly 4-0.
What a terrific shot that is. And he decided to go on the attack there when he might have been looking at a subtle safety shot, but he realises you've got to pop balls, and he's extended his lead in the frame. A chance to add to it here. Hit it sweetly, that red. I think he's just worried about playing the blue. Can he avoid hitting something on the way back up? I suppose if he hit the red on the way back up, it might not be too bad, because he might end up on the red. He's gone the other way instead to ensure that he gets a clear passage through. I'll tell you what, he'll be happy enough with that. That's not the pocket he played on the red in. Red down by the yellow. Available to that left top pocket as well. John's got to put a bit of the extension on his cue. So again, this is a bit of a stretch.
Seven.
You'd be relieved to see that one drop.
Nine. Ten.
He's finished somewhere in between shots there. He's got the red to middle. I think he probably tried to screw back beyond the blue and beyond the red into the right corner. One but just below the pink spot. He's finished slightly in between shots, but he should be okay for this red. He hasn't got a load more to do in this frame to win it.
Fourteen.
Blue, red and relatively high colour will be enough. See, the blue's not on his spot. There's slight distraction that didn't affect the shot, but it was a little different to the norm. But he played it well enough.
19.
So just this red and the colour, and Higgins will have restored his position of strength in this match.
20.
He has had some hurtful losses of late when he's been well placed to clinch victory. And even for a player of John Higgins' legendary status, that has got to take its mental toll when it
25.
happens again and again.
Yeah, well,
26.
I mean, the position he's about to be in, 2 up with 3 to play, that's seemingly where he's lost a lot of matches. But you've got to be in this position to win matches at all, and getting a lot of support.
33.
It's very hard watching, I think, for
34.
anybody. They always say that, you know, is it more difficult playing or watching? I think the answer is certainly watching. If you've got a family member or a great friend playing, you can't do a lot. You can be sitting in the same seat if it's the lucky seat for frame after frame. Don't quite know what to do with yourself. Anyway, John has stopped the rot a little bit here. Doesn't matter about the in-off. Frame over.
Oh, John Higgins, 41. Mark Allen, 4. Frame, John Higgins.
Yes, 41, more than enough for John Higgins to move to within a single frame of a 138th ranking tournament quarter-final appearance. Mark Allen with it all to do now, trailing as he is. 2 down with 3 to play. John Higgins leading by 4 frames to 2. Taken this evening. Remember, it's Judd Trump against Tepchire Nu on table 1 from 7 o'clock. That is a be missed. Should be full of attacking, entertaining snooker, whatever happens. And for John, better for getting that 6th frame on the board. Things were just beginning to look a little concerning for him, having a lead, all back to 3-2, but that break of 41. As always, the crowds here at the Templedrum very healthy. They're enjoying the action. They saw Lucas Kleckers, of course, their man, taking on Judd Trump at the beginning of the tournament. Unhappily for fans of Kleckers, Trump was in ruthless mood that evening, winning 5-0.
John Higgins to break.
Can John Higgins now be ruthless and finish this match off against Mark Allen? 2 up with 3 to play.
Well, this time the red has not drifted up to position beyond the blue spot, as we've seen so often in this match so far.
Thank you.
Malgozato Caniesta, the referee, just having a look at the line of this ball. In case a miss, should be played. Looking to see if he could get to the potting angle on this red. You can see quite a lot of the red. I think he can get to it. Managed to avoid the double kiss, which would have been no use to him. But he has left John something to the right middle. He'll be looking at it anyway. I think if there's going to be a comeback here from Mark Allen, the one thing to say is, looking at his breaks in this match, his highest is only 42. A lot of the time John has been scoring, and you can't both be at the table, but if he's to win, he's going to have to step up on that. John's missed a couple of quite difficult half chances in this 7th frame already. Oh, that is a not a nice feeling in snooker when you miss a ball and the ball you miss careers into the bunch of reds out of control like that. I mean, it's hard to do. You couldn't make it go into the bunch like that. When it hits the jaws, it could go anywhere. Now, very important first red here.
One.
Hit it well enough. Not entirely clean, but with where he's landed. This was the problem. I mean, this red just smashed straight into the pink. Reds go everywhere.
No, I think that's near jaw.
John Higgins, 1.
A little shake of the head from Higgins. Because had he got that, he could well have been on his way. Made 97 to clinch victory in the previous round against Zhou Yulong. But could now Mark Allen profit from that mistake, missing the long red and opening the bunch. Mark Allen apologising there because he's landed flush behind the pink, which he might easily not have done.
Yeah, because he didn't pot it cleanly, the red, so he didn't mean to go in that direction anyway. So it was a little fortunate.
Seven. Eight.
It's a very good shot. I mean, the direction was absolutely first class into the
15.
exact area that he planned to. He hasn't finished very well on anything, but he couldn't have played it better. You obviously need the balls to rearrange in a way that suits you. He's on a close red. I mean, that one looks horrible as well. And he just goes. Deserved a bit of fate, that last shot. There is a red above the pink which goes, but even then, the best cueing ever. Doesn't like it. It's one of those, if the red was not right by the cue ball there, just in behind it on the left there, if that red wasn't there, I don't think he'd have a problem with the red he's going to play in the right corner, because it would be straightforward for him. But it's just in this line of sight. Slightly off-putting. but he still got it.
60.
Lovely control, that.
Twenty-one. $22. $29. $30.
This season alone, John Higgins has had a number of near misses. Semi-finals of the Euro
37.
Masters. 5-4 up on Trump, lost 6-5. The Shanghai Masters quarterfinals, he was 5-2 up on Ronnie O'Sullivan, lost 6-5. The English Open semi-finals, he was 5-2 up on Trump,
38.
lost 6-5, and afterwards equated being hit by a truck. Such was Trump's whirlwind fight back in that match, just a string of breaks out of nowhere. So there have been some hurtful losses again this season. 2 seasons ago, of course, he made 5 finals, lost them all, including to Allen in the Northern Ireland Open title match. There are some mental scars there for sure, and that is what Allen is hoping to exploit. He's not thrilled with the positional side of that shot. And he's missed the red.
Mark Allen,
So,
43.
a reprieve for Higgins he wasn't expecting, I'm sure.
One.
Higgins missed the black, undercut it at the start of this frame. What can he do with this opportunity as he looks to close this out without need of a further frame? Get it done and dusted. Yuan Sejun has closed to within 1 of Si Jiawei now. A big break from Yuan in the 7th frame
8.
for 4-3.
I should think John wasn't expecting this chance to come.
9.
You know, he probably was thinking that this frame is gone when Mark surprisingly missed that red. So there's a way back into the frame now for him. This was the shot. I mean,
60.
yes, it's not simple. He's to hit on the way through. That's on his mind. I still expected him to get it with his style of play. Those shots are quite favourable to him.
17.
John will be looking to claw himself firstly back into the frame here. And then, of course, even the safer red will be Mark Allen's problem as well. Well, he's played on it straight away. I'm very surprised, but it's a very bold shot if he has played that.
24.
He's on the other end to middle anyway. But the more difficult of all of the reds is the one down the cushion. Not sure if this red, if he'll go anywhere near the red and the pink from playing it. Took a risk there. He didn't really know where any of the balls were going to finish. Now, to keep this break going, it's going to have to be the green, I think. He wanted to free the red and the pink, but he didn't think that there was a guaranteed position in doing so, and he was right. Chasing the break now, Higgins, looking to play this shot on the green.
Green ball.
Well, it's a terrific shot from Higgins. And certainly there's been nothing wrong with his long game today.
28.
He's knocked in some crackers, that was another one. But not great positionally. Another good pot required to keep this break going.
It was a good shot. I mean, the last two shots have been superb. The green and then the red. Could have landed better on the red, but knocked it in and got on the black from there. I suspect he played on this red earlier in the break, but this time it's a better angle perhaps.
36.
This was the shot that we were speaking about. Not nice, these. Played it well. He had a good angle, but the cue ball was a little close to the left cushion. We've still got plenty of work to do from here. But he is indeed back in the frame. Very good. Tried to just use the pink to hold for the red.
44.
One more good shot here from Higgins and position to go with this red. And he'll be on the cusp of victory.
45.
Just got to ensure that the green and brown do not get in his way in playing on the red. There is a space down that left side where the green and brown are not in the way. Quite a big gap, in fact. There you see it from that view. More room than what it appears. That's a lovely shot. So,
52.
just got to put away a match that had the potential to go the same way as a few others have gone for John Higgins.
And this has been perhaps the best break he's produced, not numerically, his fourth half century, but given the situation of the match, given a couple of the pots that he's negotiated to keep the break going.
Played that well with left hand run inside.
55.
Looking at the scores, 13 in front, so yellow, green and brown is all he needs now. I think he's been playing very well today.
57.
Just the fact that he has been winning is probably the only reason he hasn't already won this match. Let Mark Allen back in a little bit, but just needs the brown, and if it goes
60.
in, I'm pleased for John Higgins that he's found some form.
This last 8. And what an excellent break this has been, and this will be a very satisfying victory for John Higgins. He's been on the wrong end of it against Mark Allen in their last 3 meetings, 2 of them this season. Final frame decider at the
69.
Masters And a more comprehensive win for that man at the Champion of Champions. But Higgins has unquestionably been the stronger today. He scored heavily. Yes, there have been 1 or 2 mistakes, but the way he's taken these, very impressive. John Higgins breaks new ground at the German Masters, a first ever quarter-final appearance here at the Templedrum. And don't the crowd enjoy that? A really impressive display of heavy scoring from Higgins, and he held his nerve when it mattered to close it out. Mark Allen certainly second best today, and Higgins books his place in the last 8 by 5 frames to 2. So John Higgins takes the applause of the crowd, and richly deserved it is as well. That was an excellent performance from the 4 times world champion, and a first ever quarter-final here in Berlin. So he'll be delighted about that. His prize, of course, is a meeting with either Tepchire Anu or Judd Trump, the 2 times champion here, and they'll be in action this evening